I can get all uptight about, oh, how am I going to get every little bit of detail in here? How am I going to do it? Let's go to one of these. This is a piece of plywood probably, but still it shows a wonderful pattern to the grain. And I think it's really, really good. I'm going to top this one off here. Well, do I have to capture every one of these exactly? In most cases I wouldn't. Not unless somebody tells me that they want me to illustrate that as exactly as I see it. But now I can say, okay, the general idea is, and now I can maybe come with some of my own. As long as you understand a little bit about wood, you know it has knots. You know by looking at this that the grain isn't all going in the same direction. And often it will go around something. It'll actually loop around. So I could come like this, and I could go, and I can come in here. And it's almost better if it isn't all just completely parallel. And if I end up by having a space in here that maybe is a little bit too much of a gap, I can come in here and I can create something like this. And I can make that maybe the beginning of a knot or whatever. And so these are fun exercises to be able to free up, just like I feel about hair. I feel like I'm on vacation when I'm doing hair. And because I don't have to worry. I look at the general things, like the light direction. Where am I? Where's the apex? Now, not every piece of wood or every type of tree is going to have the same, grain in the direction. And it probably depends a lot on which way the saw cut was done, if this is a flat board. And we're obviously not looking at the outside of the tree. We get into that. We have a lot of wonderful scrap for bark, wonderful things that just make it fun so that you can learn how the principles apply regardless of the subject matter. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of this. I can just generally get things in here. But if I don't want something to compete with the line that I made, then I don't want to stop suddenly with my gradation. My gradation can have some variance to it. You can see some spaces, but overall I'm going to go ahead and make my value so that it gets lighter over against this line where it was darker on the other side. So, but still I can see some of my strokes. That's fine. And when I get down here, I can do what I was showing you a little bit ago, where this grain, there's an overall structure of the wood. This grain is going like so, and I can keep on with that direction. And then come back over here and put my value in there again. I can play with it. There's, like I said, there's wood that's all different kinds. So I could make one of these just a little darker value. I don't want to get too carried away and make it too dark. But I can go ahead and do this. This is fun with colored pencils and things like that too, but I don't want to get distracted with colored pencils. But it really is just a fun thing to do, I think. Maybe I like to do things that somebody else would say, what a nut. Why would you want to do that? But I can now, again, go with our strong texture like this and go from one darker side to the lighter side, or I could fill in spaces. It's fun to try because, first of all, it'll give you more work with your pencil. It'll give you an awareness of your value, how hard to apply the pressure, and I would still practice that all the time. It's, again, just like a musician doing scales. You have a chance to practice not only the tapered stroke, but will you be able to take it off? What's going to dominate? What can you do with the underlying drawing? Sometimes you want to be able to draw it light enough that it isn't going to distract, and in this case we don't mind it being part of the picture. So having some fun with a few strokes and value. Now, again, I'm just trying to tell you that there are times when it is perfectly okay to use the brush. You could even come back in with a Q-tip. And I would do some liberal brushing. If I'm going to use this, the reason I can use the brush is because I have this pattern and this texture. And I don't want to have to draw in everything, or I'll start losing the texture. I'll start losing my my grain. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to really brush this so that I can distribute that extra value around. And you can experiment with that too. How much should I brush it? Well, you try and go ahead and stay within the square. I guess I made that kind of hard, but I'm casting value in there that I really won't be aware of how much until I end up by removing some.